You're looking to buy a camera. Am I right? Am I one for one? All right, stick with me. You need this camera to be A, amazing for photos, B, incredible for videos, and C, you want it to be really good for vlogging and filming yourself. Am I 4 for 4? All right, good. Look, basically, you want an all-in-one camera. You want a camera that can do it all, and I don't blame you. If you're gonna be investing your hard-earned money into a camera, you want it to be a YouTube beast. You want it to be a content-creating machine. You want it to be good at several different things. You want it to be the very best quality for your money. So, in this video, I'm gonna be giving you my recommendations on which cameras to buy at each price point, and you're also gonna need a lens. I know, this is an expensive hobby or profession. Believe me, I've spent more money than I should have on photography, gear, and equipment. So later in the video, I'm going to be giving you my advice and recommendations on which lens or lenses to buy. Let's get started. All right, let's start with the highest end. We're talking about the heavy hitters in the category. Talking about Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, Kobe, LeBron, MJ. These are the top dog in this category. We're talking about the Sony A1 and the Canon EOS R5. I'm telling you, these are the ultimate all-in-one cameras. If it's photography you're looking for, you can go shoot for National Geographic with these cameras. If you want to make movies, you can literally make a movie with these cameras. I mean, they are super cinematic, incredible video quality, and they're compact enough with the flip out fully articulating LCD screen like the one I'm shooting on right now, and so you can vlog with them, you can run and gun with them, you can take them anywhere. You don't have to like spend 20 minutes setting them up. They're just ready for you to use. These are incredible. Now my official recommendation is going to be the Canon EOS R5. Why? Losing my voice a little bit, that was weird. Why? Because the Sony is $6,500 USD for just the body. The Canon is $3,800 USD, and unless you're a pro sports photographer and you need that blistering speed that the Sony offers, my guess is you're not going to get $2,700 worth of value, extra value over the Canon EOS R5. So my official recommendation is the Canon R5. It's a powerhouse of a camera. It's what I'm shooting this on right now. And if you want me to do a full review on this camera, something that I could cook up for you guys, just let me know in the comments. So right below the Canon R5 at a $3,000 or under budget, I'm going to recommend the Canon EOS R6. $1,000 less than the R5, it comes in at $2,800 USD, and this is an incredible camera in its own right. The big and main difference between the Canon R5 and the R6 is that the Canon R5 has a bigger sensor, 45 megapixels versus 20, and that sensor also allows the R5 to shoot up to 8K video at 30 FPS, which is nuts, or 4K video at 120. The R6 can only shoot 4K 60 and does shoot at a slight crop. So basically, if you're going to be shooting a lot of 4K video and you need that 4K 120 like myself, that's like a staple in my workflow. Or if you need 8K video for whatever reason, go with the R5. Otherwise, you're good with the R6. I mean, that 4K 60, even at a slight crop, is so useful. You get those slow, silky smooth cinematic shots. And honestly, for a lot of people, including maybe yourself, 4K 24 is more than enough, or even 1080 is more than enough. And in that case, go with the EOS R6. You're going to save $1,000. Now, there is one thing I want to mention on the R6. For whatever reason, when you're shooting video, you can only shoot in manual or auto mode. For a lot of people, that's no problem. But for myself and a lot of photographers that I know, I like shooting sometimes in aperture priority, AV, or shutter priority. So if that's important to you, big oversight by Canon. I'm not sure why they didn't include it, but you shoot those modes, don't get the R6. Now, the other camera I want to recommend at this price point is the Sony a7R Mark IV. That also comes in under $3,000. Now, this is a very general statement, but if your main focus is photography, if that's what you're into, if video is just sort of an extra thing that you want to keep in pocket, if you want to, have just in case, then go with the Sony a7R Mark IV. It's a beast for photography. But if video is your main focus and it's your main priority, I would go with the R6. And the reason why is that the Sony a7R Mark IV only shoots 30 FPS at 4K, and I'm telling you, that 60 FPS really is useful. Now, if your budget for a camera body is under $2,000 USD, I know there's a little bit of a pattern here, but I'm going to recommend the Canon EOS R. This is a beast of a camera. It's for people looking to get into photography. I know it's still kind of high, like budget-wise, but this is what I recommend. And to talk to you about why this camera is so incredible, I'm going to pass this to my friend and photographer extraordinaire, Andy Filicati. Andy.
Thanks, Roberto. You know I love my Canon EOS R, and like you said, at its price point, it's one of the best cameras you can get for high quality photos and videos, especially if you're trying to get into making travel content. I love vlogging on this thing. I love taking pictures. It has a 30 megapixel full frame sensor, which just leads to incredible photos. It has an amazing autofocus system, especially when you're doing videos. It's super easy to autofocus on people's eyes and things like that. Plus, if you already have Canon lenses, you can just pick up the EF to RF adapter and use any EF lens. That made it a really easy switch for me. Plus, if you're trying to get into vlogging, it has a flip screen, fully articulating. I love using this even for photography, because when you want to get down low, you can just have it this angle. And if you're vlogging, obviously you want to have it this way. And of course, it has a microphone jack for plugging in a microphone. Now, there are a couple downsides to the camera. For example, there is no in-body image stabilization, which is something that I don't really mind. And also, if you're trying to do a lot of slow-mo, you can only do 120 FPS at 720p, which is pretty low quality. And if you're trying to do a lot of 4K quality, you have to keep in mind that the camera has a crop. The 4K looks great on this camera, but there is a crop. So if you're doing, for example, a 4K vlog and you're trying to do it on a 16 to 35, when you're at 16 millimeters, you're going to end up getting more of like a 24 to 28 millimeter image. So it's going to be a little bit more zoomed in, a little more compact. But other than that, the 1080p footage looks amazing. The 4K looks amazing. And also you can do 4K time lapses all in camera, which is something that I really grew to love on this camera. I'll throw a few time lapses I filmed with it on the screen. Overall, an extremely well-rounded camera I recommend to anybody getting into photos or videos. And if you end up picking one of these up, check out my EOS R setup guide. It took me a while to figure out a lot of the settings on the camera, and it kind of like fast forwards you through that. And other than that, back to you, Roberto. Thanks for watching.
I appreciate that, Andy. Make sure to subscribe to Andy. His link is somewhere down here. I'm also going to leave it in the description. And follow him on Instagram because he got a really cool, unique username. Now, on alternative at this price point to the EOS R is the Sony a7 III. And by the way, when I say Sony, when I give Sony's an alternative, I'm not trying to trash Sony. I'm not saying it's second best. In all honesty, these two cameras are on the same playing field. They're both incredible and you're not going to go wrong with either. Now, if you have a more limited budget and you're looking for a great versatile camera at under $1,000 USD, honestly, you're going to be in great shape, especially when it comes to vlogging. You're going to find vlogging monsters at this price point. But if you're looking for super high level photography and cinema quality video, you are going to have to sacrifice a little bit and you're going to be taking a step down at this price point. But for under $1,000, I'm going to recommend the Sony a6400. It's got a flip out screen and it's super compact, which makes it really, really good for vlogging. It shoots 4K, so you're still going to get that video quality that you're after. And for stills, again, I don't think you're going to be featured in Nat Geo by shooting on an a6400. But for just general purpose Instagram and personal projects and stuff like that, photography, it's going to be really, really good. Also, take a look at the Panasonic Lumix G85. This camera for the price is very impressive. It's got 4K in-body image stabilization, focus peaking, and it's even got a built-in intervalometer for time-lapse and unlimited continuous recording. Super impressive camera. So by now you've decided on a camera body, but now the next step is to select lenses. And in this video, I'm just going to make an assumption that you're going to go with one lens at the beginning. And this is actually what I recommend. Buy one versatile lens instead of a bunch of different prime lenses. And I'd recommend the 16 to 35 millimeter or the 24 to 70 millimeter. Sometimes these are 15 to 35 or 28 to 70 depending on the make and model. If vlogging is your main thing, or real estate or interiors, go with the 16 to 35. That wide angle is really, really useful. But if you love shooting portraits, if you like shooting people, if you need a little bit more of a zoom, go with the 24 to 70. And the awesome thing about these lenses is that you can find them in your budget, whatever it is. Take these for example. These are 3 Sony E-mount lenses. We've got a high end of $2,200 US, a mid-range at $700, and a lower end at $300. And the difference is the f-stop, 2.8, 4, and 3.5 to 5.6 respectively. And here's another example of Canon EF 50mm lenses. We've got one at $1,800, one at $400, and one at $130, 1.2, 1.4, and 1.8 f-stops. So the lower the f-stop, the larger the opening in the lens. So generally, the lower the f-stop, the better quality and more expensive the lens. To put simply, a lower f-stop means a shallower depth of field, which means a blurrier background. I'm going to give you an example. I own the 50mm 1.2 Canon EF lens, and here's an example of the same photo at different f-stops, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here. Anyways, guys, I didn't go into too much detail on each camera, but if you have any questions below, I'd really be happy to answer them. And also, if you're a photographer, videographer, content creator, or just creative of any sort, check out my creativity apps that I've been working on over the last several years. I guarantee you that these are going to be very helpful in your mobile workflow. Take as an example Tone Studio. It features some of the best presets you're going to find anywhere for your photos and videos. It's one tap. I collaborated with Do You Travel and Gypsy Lust, two of Instagram's most decorated creators on it. And don't take my word for it. Download it. It's free. Check it out. I guarantee you're going to be obsessed with the presets. And this is Design Lab. It features thousands of the best design social media templates. And look, guys, I'm a designer by trade. I don't take this lightly. I really do believe that Design Lab has the best design templates in the game. Again, don't take my word for it. It's free. Download it. And Swipe Mix is the other app that I wanted to show you real quick. It helps you create super unique Instagram carousel posts. And the awesome thing about this is that in our independent tests, Swipe Mix carousel posts, they usually have 30 to 40% extra engagement from the user's average post, which is really awesome. This is like a really unique way to showcase your photography. So check it out. I got a couple more apps, so I'm not going to waste all your time talking about them, but I really appreciate you guys hanging with me today. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload. Again, this really helps the YouTube gods favor a small channel like myself. It really does help. Appreciate it, guys. Catch you in the next video.